What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Buffalo Commander. I'm your host, Alex. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm joined again today by Randall. We're going to go over our 53 man roster prediction for the Buffalo Bills, and we are one day away. How's it going, Randall?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for coming back on the show, man. Maybe we'll make this a regular thing on
Yeah,
game weeks too.
yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Did you do any fantasy drafts or anything?
Oh, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. I just signed up for a 32 team dynasty,
Oh
so we're gonna
gosh,
see. And then
that's a lot.
I will shout out Scott Fishbowl though. I got into Scott Fishbowl this year. This is
Uh
the
huh.
fourth year that I signed up for, and I finally got in. So I'm
Yeah.
super excited to be a part of that.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I signed up for one this year. I haven't done fantasy. I don't know how old you are. I'm 42, so I haven't played since early 30s,
Yeah. Oh,
and I
good
just
for you.
haven't got. I just kind of got lost in it because I'm a Bills fan, and I don't really need anything to enhance my viewership.
Right.
I've never have. I actually only I watch other teams play because they're on, and if we win, if we lose, I usually cut the TV off.
Yeah.
But if we're winning, I end up going like I'll watch other games and I'm into it, but I'm not. I'm just not as into it as I used to be. I used to love it, and then it just kind of got stale for me. And the game has changed a lot too. I did my first one, like I said, 10 years, and it was a lot involved. The players are different. Like there used to be like a Priest Holmes or Sean Alexander or LaDainian Thompson. They're getting 20 TDs a year, and there's
Right.
nobody like that in the running back rooms anymore. Like now it's
It,
about receivers and quarterbacks aren't valuable like they used to
yeah.
be.
Yeah, the NFL is cyclical though, so
It is.
running backs are going to start to matter in two to
Mhm.
4 years probably.
Yeah, we're probably seeing a little bit of a renaissance of it now,
Exactly.
where we're seeing guys come back, kind of where they're starting to cater their off. Like even us, like I think we were like 56 or 57% pass to run ratio last year, which was different. We had been going over 60 every year, I believe,
Yep.
and that's a big shift, And I think the Chiefs as well had a higher run ratio than they're used to. So,
Yeah, the change of a lot of too high safety
uh
just
huh,
kind of revamp that front seven and how you're going to operate with that
yep.
front seven and too high.
Absolutely. And a lot of times now they're running a lot of quarters too, right? So they're
Yep.
like kind of
Yeah.
running four deep almost, that they're
Yeah.
covering the whole field. And then you've got your linebackers kind of covering the underneath spots. You got to use a slot corner that's covering another like flat curl area somewhere in that range.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, it's changing a lot. It's making teams go, well, if you're gonna go light, we're gonna run at you.
Exactly.
All right, I prepared a little worksheet. So for everyone watching, this worksheet is, I think, can you see that okay, Randall?
Yep. Looks
Is that
good.
good? Okay, cool.
Yep.
I was told by someone commenting on a video a while back saying that I need to zoom in. So I've got here, there's a key to the right you can't see because I've zoomed in, but orange is something we've both mutually agreed on.
Got it.
Red is a mutually agreed IR, which I don't know if you had Mitch in IR, I believe.
Yep.
And then gray is a competition. So based on what I'm seeing here, we've got, as you can see, it says 19 offensive players, 3 special teams players, and 25 defensive players that we have together as mutually agreed upon, like roster locks.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're short 6. Okay. So I want to go kind of through the list what we have and then kind of make it go from there. I think with quarterback, and stop me if I'm wrong, we're probably going to IR Mitch, and then it's probably going to either be Ben DiNucci stepping in or a free agent. Would you agree or no?
Yeah. Absolutely. I
Okay.
did it. Yeah, I did it as that one quarterback with that small
Yep.
loophole to bring him up so we could use another skill position
Yeah.
on that 53 and just
Right.
put one on the roster for 53.
You're just going to elevate the practice squad guy until Mitch comes back.
100%.
Okay. And then once is what it now does DiNucci have? I know he's got eligibility, but there is a certain limit. Is he going to be able to be? Do you think that? So you think Mitch is less than like 4 weeks?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I think Mitch is less than 4 weeks, and then I mean, a very unfortunate thing is I assume that somebody will tweak an injury to where it's kind of fluid. You kind of switch that
Sure.
out, and then Mitch
Okay.
goes in.
Okay. Yeah, that feels right. I don't know if it's the most likely because usually, usually you know how they are. Like they're really paranoid about this stuff. I wonder if they actually don't. Like I kind of think that maybe Kyle Allen comes in potentially.
Yeah.
as a spot filler. And there's a few other guys, like Matt Corral got released today. Like there's a couple dudes
Yeah.
out there. And
Mike White.
yeah, and I also heard that the quarterback rules was vetoed today as well. So you can't carry the third on your practice squad as like an unlimited call up.
Gotcha.
They changed that. So that may influence their decision.
Yeah.
With that, just in case Mitch has like let's say he's got a meniscus deal. You know, what does that mean? You know?
Yeah. They're not talking about it
At all. Yeah, it's like, okay, is he really? I mean, I was almost on the level. I think Ben looked better than Mitch.
I agree. I mean, yeah, his first couple drives in the second game were not his fault because he just got here. But the
Right.
third, but last game was good. I like
Right. Running back, I think we're consensus here, right? We're not going to say anything crazy like Frank Gore's making the team, right?
I don't think so. Ty Johnson did enough last year in itself. Let's be real.
Yeah, that was enough of a roll of the dice, and I think he did enough last year to solidify who he is. Darrington Evans, I liked a lot.
Me too.
I wish they could. I mean, people were talking about Frank Gore today, but I didn't see any like explosiveness. And I think in a regular season, he'd look a lot different. But Darrington Evans is explosive.
Yeah.
He's going to be on someone's team. You know, we'll never get him I don't think we'll get him on our practice squad, but we could try.
No, he's always been decent around the league. That's the thing. It's just surprising that he's floating.
And he has return ability, which is like, I don't get why he's not loved. He's not, I mean, he's a little small, but nothing crazy. I think this is the first place where we'll probably have maybe a little disagreement with the wide receiver position. And it's not disagreement, it's more of just like not consensus.
Right.
Is with like, I think we both can agree, most likely Tyrell Shavers makes it at this point over KJ and over MVS, or no?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think Tyrell Shavers makes it out of those three.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think they like to make examples. I'm going to change them to orange.
Okay.
I think they like to make examples out of guys in a good way. Like they've been talking about Shavers since the offseason, saying, well, he's been here, all offseason. He's the first guy in, last guy out. I think they want to reward that kind of thing,
Agreed.
My main concern is how many we keep, because, and let's get back. I don't want to put KJ or MVS on the roster yet. I want to just kind of hold them there for a second, because I think there's a place where we would need to discuss, based on how big this roster is and where we are currently, on how many we keep actually. Because I kind of was like, oh, we're keeping 6.
Yeah.
But then I looked at it more and I'm like, I don't know if we can, because there's some guys on this roster that I think that they want to retain, that they don't want to see go. And I think they're much more easily ready to like let an MVS or a KJ Hamler walk. So let's kind of put a pin in them, and we'll come back to it. I just want to kind of narrow our list a little bit. Dalton and Dawson are on the team, obviously.
Right.
Quentin Morris or Zach Davidson, an interesting question. Do you think Quentin gets IR'd?
Quentin could, but I don't think that with an IR I would think Quentin Morris stays. I don't think he gets IR'd. I think he's fine to where he goes, maybe inactive for the first 2 and comes out for the third. But Quentin Morrison himself has done enough for the team, and he's a really good viable pass catcher. Yeah. In my opinion, to where it's just it's a lock for me.
He's a lock on the team. Like I would not, like if he's healthy, Davidson doesn't make the team no matter what. But I think if he gets IR, Davidson could fill in. Or if they think they can get him on the practice squad, he can just be a call up.
Right.
Or Kitty or whatever.
Yeah, I think the designated to return is a little rough to use on Quentin Morris. Yeah. So I think we just balance it out and wait for him to be ready week 3.
Same thing with Milano. I think we'll get to that in a second, but Milano is the same issue for me. Like, you want to DNR him, DFR, I should say, not DNR. You're gonna pull the plug.
As Bills fans,
yeah. Do it a designated for return when you don't know if he'll return. Or do you want to wait, put him on the roster, and then put him on IR, and then just kind of play the game?
Right. Yeah.
That's probably what I would imagine for him. So I think let's keep Quentin Morris. If you think I haven't kept up with him as much personally.
Yeah.
Because he's been out and kind of, I don't know how severe the injury is, but if he's healthy, Zach Davidson won't make this team. They like Morris way too much.
100%.
All right. So, one thing real quick. You see the yellow underneath?
Yes.
So that's how many made it last year and why. So Barkley got IR'd last year, but we kept 2 on the roster still. Shorter got IR'd last year. We ran with 5 and we didn't bring a 6. We put 5 IR'd Shorter, right?
Yeah.
It's going to look a little 3 for tight end. I think's pretty set.
Standard.
The one thing here is with tackle and guard, because of the way we're constructed, we kept 3 tackles last year and 5 guards, but one of them had tackle flex, one of them had center flex.
Right.
I think it's going to flip this year, if I had to guess, because I don't think Kevin Jarvis or Keaton Bills or anybody else, I just put the notable names here. I'm not going to use up a whole huge thing, are going to outbeat Grable or Garage or Collins, who can probably play multiple positions as well.
Yeah.
Like Grable played guard a little bit in the preseason, like here and there too.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
He looked very good. I thought he was very solid for what he is, So that would be my kind of caveat. I know you had Collins, Grable, you and I agree on Grable. I think Grable's on the roster, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so he's there. We're going to remove him from our battle for the last 6 positions. He's out. Okay. Garage and Collins is funny for me. I almost think Garage makes it over Collins.
He looked good. I agree. I think so. My Collins stick is if we do the loophole for the 1 quarterback.
Okay.
So if we're adding an extra position, then I believe that using Collins in that 10th offensive line spot would be beneficial for veteran presence and then being able to handle it. So he would be on that back of that depth chart in the offensive line, but it'd be beneficial at that point for having him.
So I also think this is where, because measuring against last year, we had 1 center last year. Now we have 2. I guess SVPG or whatever he can play guard, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I just put him as 2 there. And then we've got 5 guards last year. Now we've got 3 and then 4 definites at tackle. I think this is the same decision we'll come back to at the end between like who makes the team, whether we want an extra guard or we want an extra receiver on this team and how that looks. You know what I mean? So let's come back to those as well. And then we can kind of, kind of play it from there. And then we'll recount here in a second as well. Okay. Perfect. So defensive end, I think the top 5 are set.
Yep.
Casey Toohill, you had him on yours.
I did. I know we didn't get to see a lot out of him, but I was pretty pumped up when we actually did grab him.
Yeah.
I think that the Bills are going to more or less look at him for what they saw in him when they grabbed him versus unavailable during the month of August.
Okay.
So, and he had a couple good pressures yesterday.
He did. He did have a couple good pressures, and I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he looked a little bit out of sorts at times, like a little bit like he's getting his feet under him, but he had a couple pressures like, oh, okay, he's there.
Yeah.
The question for me would be Toohill or Deshaun Williams. And the only reason I say that is because of the roster numbers as well. Like with the offense is we only kept 5 defensive end last year. That would make us 6, and that would put us at 4 D tackles. And if we had Deshaun, we'd also be at 5, and we kept 5 and 5 last year. So that would be my only like caveat to potentially making that flipped, right? Because I think it's fairly to me, Deshaun Williams is the clear other guy, like
Yeah.
If we're gonna have Deshaun, if we're not gonna carry 5th defensive tackle, he's the guy,
Agreed.
Because they invested in him to an extent,
I know Eli Anku consistently sits on our practice squad, and I still hope he does, to be honest.
Me too.
Because he had a good preseason as well.
Yeah. And he played good. He plays good when spot work when he gets in, I'd be fine with Eli's defensive tackle 5, even if we rostered him.
Right.
I mean, he's fine. I don't see any issue with having him on the roster if that was the case. Even if they decide to go Eli over Deshaun, I wouldn't be super surprised.
Yeah.
because I don't think Deshaun's had like a bang up camp or anything, you know?
Right. Right.
And they have invested in Eli quite a bit as well. So that's a possibility. Outside linebacker, Matt Milano. The question is whether you IR him before designated return or after. I think they do it after. They give him a spot. They tell Reed Ferguson to wait in the parking lot, and they bring him. They IR him at that point, just so they can maintain control at that level. Dorian Williams on the team for sure.
Definitely.
So just to see the numbers on here, we had 3 outside linebackers and 3 inside linebackers last year, right?
Yep.
We came really short on linebackers last year at the end of the year where we just got screwed, right?
Right.
I think everyone else makes the team, if I had to bet.
Yeah.
Like maybe Balin Spector is probably Joey Andreessen gets inactive.
Right.
But I think they like Spector. I think they gave him a lot of chance early on. I think that this is only his second year. They don't really want to write him up as an injury, problem at this point. I know he is, but what do you think of that?
I agree. I think I put him as making the team or using him as a trade candidate.
Yeah.
Spector doesn't really look that great. I understand that it's his second year, so I do believe that he has the ability to develop, but this year kind of isn't. So if the Bills actually maybe use him as a trade card around this time, I think that would be ideal, because I do think he is kind of a duck between all the other linebackers. He's kind of a just open water sitting there that I've seen this year so far.
He gets caught out of position quite a bit at times, and he's a missile. Like he comes at, like he attacks the football. So there is a piece of him that I really like as a 6th or 5th linebacker. So I think that having him as, I just have a hard time believing that they will run in the season with 5 when they ran into it last year with 6. Yeah. And then the injury issue we had. So I think to me, he's on the team just because Milano's out, Right. If Milano was here, he'd be cut. That's why I think.
Sure. Oh, yeah, 100%. The Deon Cain cut was surprising. I get it because Spector's only in his second year, but I also do think that Dorian Williams just does a better job at attacking the ball than Spector does. So,
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Deion Jones was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to make the team.
Me too.
And I think they just looked at it with like, well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 5 young linebackers on this team we want to develop.
Right.
We want to give this guy a chance to go out and find a spot on a team. He's good enough. And is he so much better than Morrow or Spector that we would, well, not Morrow, but is he so much better than Spector that we would like want to give up on Spector yet? That was another sign to me that Spector's probably on the team,
For sure. And maybe Deon Cain got a conversation with him. They were like, well, cut me so I can go play somewhere else.
Yes.
Maybe I'm LB, actually good time, good snap usage.
Absolutely. And then lastly, this is the funky one too with the numbers is cornerback, safety, free safety, strong safety is how I have them listed. We carried 7 corners last year, but we'll carry 6 instead, right? This year. Right. Cam Lewis is the pivot where he can play safety and corner. He'll be the 7th corner, quasi 7 corner, maybe even 5 or 6 in a pinch, or be the fill in at free safety at times as well. So it gets our numbers kind of round there as far as that goes. Anything to say on that piece? Do you pretty much agree on that?
No, that's pretty much perfect. And then obviously Daquan Hardy is what makes my wide receiver 6 difficult because his preseason has been incredible.
So good. He's so good. And he's so good in coverage too. Like I know he's playing out of position on the boundary, but he's locking dudes up. And even when it reminds me a little bit of Cam Lewis. He rolls with people all over the field. He can cover. It's just he's 5'9".
Right.
And at that height and that length, can he play on the outside against bigger, more physical wide receivers? We saw when Pickens went up in the preseason above him, went out of bounds as incomplete pass, but it did get to a point where we thought it was going to be it probably could have been a catch, and it wasn't because of bad positioning by Daquan, just that he's bigger and taller,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure against the Panthers game though, he highballed. He almost caught it, but he probably pointed that ball against Deontay, I think. Yeah, it was a little underthrown, but he did show that he can get up.
He can get up a little bit. Yeah, he's a super athlete, so he can make up for it a little bit. But The question is whether he'll jam people up. I do think he might be the Taron Johnson replacement once Taron's gone.
Absolutely.
Potentially. That's kind of how I view him. So he'll probably still play the slot a lot. Saw somebody yesterday put Jamarcus Ingram off the roster. Just took him off, said he wasn't going to make the team. And I was like, you're nuts. It was one of these, it wasn't Bill's chat pod. It was somebody else. It was somebody who was like, this is not even close to a possibility. They love Ingram.
The first preseason game when he basically put down that dude on the line on press man, I think he won. I think he won the 53 right there.
Yeah. Dude, he's doing it to people in practice. He's doing it to big guys like Keon Coleman and guys like that. Like these guys are not he's physical on a level that's different, like most corners don't like to get that physical, Yeah. All right, so we've got now just to count again, right? We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now we're up to 20 offensive players. We really just added one. And we're at 25 defense and 3 special teams, right?
So we got 5.
So we got 5, 25, 20, 40, 80. Yeah, 5 positions open. So one of them's probably going to go to a quarterback, most likely. Okay, so let's just fill in. I actually think it could be DiNucci.
Yeah. Well, I'm good with that for now.
Let's just do DiNucci for now, and then we'll, if we want to change that or whatever, we'll come back to it. All right, so we got DiNucci. So now we're down to 4. So the question now is going to be, I'm guessing Davidson's off, right? So let's go ahead and nix him. He's done.
Yeah.
So now we're down to MVS, Hamler, Collins, Garage, Toohill, and Deshaun Williams. So we have 6 guys for 4 spots. So the question is, what do we think ultimately out of that they'll do? And I personally would not have MVS on this roster.
Me neither.
But the way he talked about people being ready for the season in that press conference last week makes me question a little bit, like, do they carry more because we don't have as much known at the top, or do they run like they usually do and just be like, we only need 5?
Yeah. So our points are similar with Tyrell Shavers. And he's also a big dude. So, we're covering that on the basketball team, quote unquote basketball team. Mac Hollins, same kind of thing. And the way that they talk about MVS versus Mac Hollins, they talk about Mac Hollins much more like he's ready, ready rock and roll sort of thing. So they're excited about him.
Yep.
So I don't think MVS pushes the wide receiver 6 spot because of that.
Okay.
And that's why I have that KJ Hamler in there. But I think that personally, that we actually maybe get a free agent in that wide receiver 6 spot instead of KJ Hamler based on Daquan Hardy's return role.
Yeah.
Because I believe he's taken that now. So I believe looking at somebody like the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs possibly, and a couple other teams on their cut candidates could be somebody that fills that role. I in the 2022 draft, I wanted to leave with Khalil Shakir or Sky Moore. I know Sky Moore hasn't had a good camp, but I can't let it go. I can't let it go. And then,
it's something you got to draft. He's a draft crush. I like him too. I liked him as well.
Yeah, he ran great route. Senior Bowl was absolutely wild to watch him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
And then I mean, Houston Texans are cutting good wide receivers.
And Mechie's on the block supposedly.
Crazy. Like if we can get John Mechie,
that'd be great.
My lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie he had on yesterday was absurd. So that's where I see the wide receiver 6 in my personal opinion.
Okay. So in the meantime, do we carry another offensive lineman or not? We're already at the number we were last year, pretty much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 9. That's where we were. 10 is kind of like where that's pretty much the max most people carry. I think they will carry an offensive tackle, another player.
Yeah. I personally actually don't think we do.
Okay.
But it makes sense to carry 10. I guess I'm almost like 55-45 on it because
Sure.
we had so much continuity last year where 9 was easily safe.
Yeah.
To where this year the continuity is not there, losing our center.
Yeah.
And looking at contracts next year and things like that, 10 might be a better option to weigh out
Unless you can get
2025.
Garage on the practice squad.
Right.
That's the only other option.
Right.
I mean,
I
we do
think
have 4 spots here to cover too. So
I think we
mean,
should add that offensive line. I say we stick by
okay.
what you believe and go with that.
You want to go with Garage or Collins if that happens?
Let's go Garage because realistically, the only reason I chose Collins is if we use the loophole and just sticking him in there on a veteran presence.
Okay. Yeah, I think the investment with Garage too, they like his I think they like he's versatile, first of all. Secondly, they invested a draft pick in him. And I think they like to keep those guys around and develop them. And I think that's still the guy for what's his name? Wyatt Teller from Virginia Tech.
Oh yeah.
It still sticks out in his head, man. I think that it'll remind him a lot of that because he was a late round pick too.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Hokies fan, so I knew about Wyatt Teller. I wanted him when we got him. So
biggest bean fumble.
Yeah, that was the biggest hit, probably the biggest mistake he's made. And regardless of all the Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes talk, even though Patrick Mahomes had nothing to do with Bean.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Wyatt Teller is his main bugaboo. Got the one that got away.
Right.
Then it comes just to Casey and Deshaun Williams. We got 3 spots left. So do you think defensive end is going to be more of the push here or defensive tackle? I'm torn between it as well. I like Tuhill as a player. I don't think Deshaun's played fantastic or anything, but he has been there,
Right.
And Tuhill's been hurt. And that's the part that pivots a little bit towards Deshaun's direction. But I'm open to other suggestions. I would not be convicted about this decision.
Yeah, to be honest, me neither. It's a very interesting route they're going to go, especially because when it looks at it, our front 7 or our front 4 is going to have to do some very heavy lifting.
Yep.
So it's actually a pretty important position, which one we kind of fulfill that role.
Yeah.
So, both of them.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing about this is, let's recount real quick. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 32, 36, 38, 42, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Okay. So we are at 53. How did I miss that?
Oh, perfect.
Okay. So we're at 53 right now.
Okay.
With that addition. I guess I added that incorrectly. Okay. So yeah, I think I just forgot the quarterback, adding him to the list. Yeah, it really makes me feel like it's gonna be, because we have 10 offensive linemen now.
Right.
And it's really going to come down to whether we keep 10 offensive linemen, a 6th receiver, or 1 more defensive lineman. I mean, those are your 3 spots. That's it,
Yeah, that's interesting, especially, Daquan Jones, a little bit older, tore pec, right? Not by tore pec last year. Austin Johnson is great. I love Austin Johnson. And then you have Dwayne Carter, brand new rookie.
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah, and a little bit undersized, but not bad. So maybe it is a defensive tackle and 9 offensive line, just to make sure.
Yeah, we could pivot that if you think Garage can be kept.
Yeah, did Javon Solomon, who played nose tackle, 1 rep?
I don't remember.
Game 2. I think game 2, Javon Solomon played nose tackle, 1 rep, which
is just throwing him around, see what he can do.
I know. Don't get me wrong. But
247-pound
yeah,
defensive tackle.
yeah.
Um,
I think the front four is so important for our defense this year, where you gotta have depth there.
so there's the other thing too that I think comes out. So just to recap, it's going to come down to defensive line, offensive line, or wide receiver for that last spot. So wide receiver 6, O line 10, D line 9, right?
Right.
And I'm at the point where every single year there's someone that gets cut that we're just like, what? How'd that happen? Right.
Yeah.
So my thing is, who is that going to be? Because I think that's what we're missing. It's not always so like cut and dry. Like it's definitely all the guys we think. Who's a guy that you think that could get cut that is on this list that's we think are guarantees, you know? Because I don't know personally.
Yeah. Let's see.
Is it someone like Garage? You know, I guess it could be. You know,
it could be. I mean, I don't know. Phelan Spector.
Maybe Spector. Yeah. That's now maybe we're back to Spector even like
right. Yeah.
Because I'd rather keep 5 linebackers but have instead of 6 and have 9 defensive linemen.
I would too, to be
10,
honest.
10 defensive linemen.
Right.
Same thing with offensive line. I think it's just more important positions, and not having Spector on the roster doesn't seem like a big loss, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have a receiver than Spector for sure as well.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
And KJ, I hate to lose KJ Hamler, man. I just think that
he brings a completely different skill set than the other 5. That's what I love about KJ.
Yes.
Is his twitchiness and his speed are unmatched, and the only reason that the NFL hasn't seen it is because of injuries. So a healthy KJ Hamler could be unreal.
He's a deep threat. He's been that in the past. He was that in college as well. He's a slot. He's a good backup slot option, which we have, but we don't, because both Curtis and Shakir will start most likely. So you'll probably have Curtis at the Z, not the slot.
Right.
But it'd be nice to have someone else to fill in. He's a returner as a backup.
Yep.
And they had him late in the game last time, but I kind of took that more as like, you know, show us the kind of heart you got for us, you know?
Yep.
And, I agree. And he did it, you know?
I agree. We are both KJ fans, opposed to a lot of people on Twitter. But, but I mean, I see it just like you do, to be honest.
Yeah. And it's not like he's bigger than Isaiah McKenzie is. I'm going to cut off this. Yeah. You know, he's bigger than Isaiah McKenzie. He's faster than Isaiah McKenzie. And I think he's an overall better route runner than Isaiah McKenzie with better hands.
I agree.
Same deficiencies. Sometimes they stumble when they're going too quick, and you know they're not going to take a lot of hits. But he's a better returner. He's got a lot of value to the team. I almost think that like they want to keep him, but then there's the whole MVS thing keeps popping in my head. I'm like, I feel like MVS is going to make the team and piss everyone off.
Probably.
They don't think they have a deep threat.
Yeah.
I don't think they believe that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're probably right, to be honest with you. Probably that's what the Buffalo Bills and Brandon Beane have thought once we got MVS early in the offseason. So there's a reason we got him early with what his capabilities are. Obviously, he has a track record of making it far in the playoffs, whether he contributes or not.
Right.
He has that record.
Yeah.
So that playoff veteran presence is ideal when we get to the playoffs to make sure he can talk it through and stuff like that, playing with Patrick Mahomes and Rodgers and stuff. So I get it. I won't be overly pissed, but as long as I can forget about it in week 3 or 4, if you know, it's almost the Tyler Bass treatment, right? You drop a ball in the 4th quarter with 3 minutes to go. Everybody's going to remember that.
Everybody's going to remember it. Yeah. The thing with him too is that I see that Shavers kind of convinced me of in this last game. I mean, that was probably at that point the second string Panthers defense, but he cooked that dude on the line with that. Like he got by him and went up. I'm like, if it was a 60-yard play, he could have just kept going. Like Shavers has got some speed to him as well.
Yeah.
And much better hands and a better route runner as well than MVS. MVS is not a good route runner. He's clunky and stiff. He's just a straight line speed dude, you know, who's been blessed with good quarterbacks his whole career, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So if it was me, I just tell Shaver, like, Shavers, you're the MVS, like, figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll teach you how to get downfield better or whatever, and then we'll just figure out the rest. And then maybe roster KJ Hamler is what I would put on my final 53. But this is more of a predictive than it is what we would do as well. So,
Sure.
but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think the things to look out for tomorrow for everyone who watches, it'll be whether they keep 10 O linemen, 10 D linemen, or the extra receiver, and whether Balin Spector makes the team. That'll be my that's my final takeaway from the exercise we did here.
Agree.
Yeah. That's all I got today, man. I appreciate you coming out again. We'll keep doing this. This is the bye week.
Yeah. We got,
because if we had a game yesterday, if this was the bye week, we would be playing the following Sunday anyway. So just, if you think about it like a bye week, it's going to come a lot quicker.
Yeah. I'll try.
Yeah.
But at least we got an incredibly dope game on Thursday night, which is great.
Yeah.
And then that'll suffice until we get to Sunday, and then all the butterflies come out.
Absolutely. That's when all the nerves come out. Absolutely. To see what we look like. Some of it's about Arizona, not knowing a lot about them, but I don't really think they have much of a defense. But a lot of it is just to see what this actually looks like when we do get all the incorporation of the motion that we've been doing in training camp that we haven't seen in the preseason, that now we can kind of see the full gauntlet of what we're going to do and how this offense truly will look is the main thing I want to see. The defense will be fine,
Yeah. No, I agree.
Our defense is the Miami Dolphins offense of defense.
Yeah.
We're going to look great against bad teams.
Yeah.
Who aren't already mediocre or not that good. When we play really good teams in the playoffs deep, the offense is going to have to play at another level because the defense is not going to be able to hold up especially if it's injured,
Yeah, no, exactly. I think the Cardinals have a bigger learning curve than we do on offense.
Yes.
As to being able to get into their own. I think they need 4 to 6 games to figure themselves out. Joe Brady can plug and play.
Yeah, and all they really have is McBride, and Marvin Harrison's a good player, but we don't know what he's going to actually be. It's going to take some time.
And then they have the suspension on
Zay Jones.
Yep.
And then they've got Wilson from last year's draft, I think is his name.
And Dortch.
They got Dortch. I knew that, but Dortch. I look back at Dortch. I saw that highlight of him, and I was like, "Damn." Yeah. But I look back at his stats, I'm like, he's never done anything.
No, it's the back group still rooting for him, sort of thing. Like whoever liked him in the draft is still going.
They're still going for it. They're still pumping the brakes for this guy who looks like a little water bug. No, it's Michael Wilson from Stanford. That's who they got. And I thought he was okay last year. He's nothing special. Like Taron Johnson will lock him up. I don't have any issues with that at all. It's going to be mainly Marvin Harrison and containing Kyler Murray at the end of the day. So
definitely agree.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming out. Everybody like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah, man.